Brendan, is my name down there? Romare Eisenberg is going to give the second speech, and there is a correction to the agenda. I have 6 to 8 minutes down, but his speech is going to be 8 to 10 minutes, and that means that Rob's evaluation would be 4 to 5 minutes, half the time of the speech. Rob Cancer, would you give Robert's goals for his speech, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Mary Alice, and good afternoon again, everyone. For Mike and Johnny, Lindsay, would you show, when I'm speaking during this 1 minute, the green card at 30 seconds, the yellow card at 45 seconds, and get me to stop speaking at 60 seconds with the red card, and then show if I spill over the stop now.
There is no stop now. We can't find it.
Okay. So just stand up and kind of shake.
I'll wait.
Robert Eisenberg will be speaking his own original material. You probably know that Robert is a professional entertainer, both in Massachusetts and in Florida. He'll be rehearsing for one of his upcoming gigs in Florida. And Robert tells me that he needs to be sure of the timing. So it's going to be 8 to 10 minutes. And the theme is sexist pigs. It's 2 pieces that he's joined together. Robert says that his posture is terrible due to an inflamed bursa in his leg. So he's going to be working on showing up in the performance without attention to his posture and his pain. So I'll be looking for that. Robert's also wanting to make eye contact in the most effective way during his delivery. And there should be some humor throughout. And Robert is also giving me leeway, now that I've got the red card, to say whatever I want to.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, I'm going to try to cut it down so that Mike can do table topics. I'll try to cut it down. This teacher, friend of mine, told me that she said to her kids, if any of you can tell me who's responsible for this quote, I'll let you go home early. Full score, a little girl raises her hand and says, that was Abraham Lincoln. Asked not, before she could say another word, another little girl says, that was John F. Kennedy. I have a drink, that was Martin Luther King. Johnny is sitting in his chair, red-faced. You can see he wants to jump out of his chair. He says, tell those stupid girls to stop saying stupid things. Teacher rolls around and says, who said that, John? Who said that? Who said that? Johnny looks up and says, Donald Trump, Matt Lauer, Harvey Weinstein. Okay. Some of you may know, some of you may not, that I used to write for the various papers, local papers, the Minutemen, and I was the humor columnist for about 5 years. And what I had done was I had robotized a refrigerator. And the reason I robotized the refrigerator, I took it over to, it was in Sears, and I took it over to iRobot. He got a set of wheels, he learned how to read. And the reason I did this is that I thought that people were doing, manufacturers of refrigerators were doing a lot of things for them. But what they weren't doing was they weren't figuring out how the refrigerators could go to supermarkets. I mean, who better to go to a supermarket than a refrigerator? Because who knows better what you need in a refrigerator? So there was one flaw. The refrigerator, in order to go to Costco and these various supermarkets, needed a driver's license. Well, believe it or not, he went to the registry, and with all what we know about the registry, nobody even noticed that a refrigerator was getting a driver's license. So he passed with flying colors, and I passed the article in and it was accepted, no problem. And I had about 2 or 3 articles about, I called them Mr. Fridge. And Mr. Fridge took to reading. Now that he could read and got his driver's license, he started reading the Wall Street Journal every day. And in the Wall Street Journal, one particular day, there was an article that jumped out, maybe a vote, to Mr. Fridge. It said, robots make lousy lovers. Well, I want to tell you, Mr. Fridge was upset. Not just a little bit, but really upset. What would the Wall Street Journal know about refrigerators and if they're good lovers or bad lovers? Did the Wall Street Journal ever try to kiss a refrigerator? I don't think so. Did the Wall Street Journal ever try to hug a refrigerator? I don't think so. Well, Mr. Fridge had fallen in love with a refrigerator at Sears. Well, true, a female, well, somebody might say, well, how did he know it was a female refrigerator? Silly, by the outlets. Took a second. Anyway, the reason that I thought that I had turned Mr. Fridge into a sexist pig is that when he described the female refrigerator, he went on about her handles. He said, what a set of tires. And he would always end up by saying, what a rack. Well, I passed this article into the Minuteman, and I didn't hear from them. This is the first time that they didn't publish one of my articles right away. Weeks went by, and there was no sign of my article. Well, I finally called, and I figured that they were going to be really put out by the fact that I had turned the refrigerator into a sexist pig. So I asked them why they didn't publish it. They said because it wasn't realistic. After they had published the articles about a refrigerator getting a driver's license. So that's when I decided to resign from the newspaper and write my book. And the story of Mr. Fridge is in the book. And he even has an intro complaining about when he becomes a celebrity that he doesn't want to travel because he hates the airplanes and how uncomfortable the seats are. Anyway, off Mr. Fridge. And on to this story called A Practice Run. And when I was 14 years old, I was a lot of 14 males are. I was a very horny 14-year-old. And my thing was, I fell in love with all my friends' mothers. To me, they were gorgeous. They were perfect. They were the perfect age. They were in the late 30s, early 40s. And each one, to me, in their own different way, was exquisite. Now, along with what Aline said, their husbands had become unemotionally involved. I mean, not only that, I mean, compared to me, they were balding, they were getting pudgy, and here I was 14 with absolutely no body fat. I was a thing of beauty. And I knew that if these women ever recognized it, it would be, a beautiful day. Well, I had a plan. And my plan was when one of my friends would be out, I would go over to their house and I would tell the mother that I was waiting for my friend to come back. And I knew that sooner or later, looking at me, it was going to be all over for them. They would just grab me and have a wonderful time because their husbands had, completely left them. They were washing cars, they were watching the Red Sox. So the wives and husbands were not connected. But I never was able to really get the plan together for one reason or another. But something happened, I got a real break. My brother, my older brother, he was about 15 years older than me, had a couple of kids, and he moved to Newton, and he bought a 2-family house. He on the first floor, and his sister-in-law, his wife's sister, on the second floor. Now, his wife's sister had just lost her husband. She also had 2 kids. Perfect. I volunteered to babysit. I had my eye on the widow. Now, I have to tell you, she was not exactly my taste. First of all, she was a little too young. She was in her early 30s. So that wasn't exactly on my road. But I could forgive it. So I began babysitting for my brother all the time. And I would watch her coming down the steps with one of her lovers. And they would kiss inside. I was nauseated by the kisses in the sides. See you soon, and so forth and so on. And they were also like the husbands. They were, getting old. They were balding. They were pudgy. Compared to me, they wouldn't have a chance. Well, I can't tell you how many times I babysat, waiting, and I knew it would happen. And it did. There was a knock on the door. And there she was, in a tank top and short shorts. And an unlit cigarette in her hand. "What can I do for you?" I said with a smirk. She said, "Does your brother leave any matches around?" Matches? A metaphor for hot. I knew what she was really saying. She hit it with the word match. And she said, "I like to have a cigarette before I go to bed." Bed! Oh my goodness! She's practically taking my clothes off. I ran into the kitchen, I got matches, and with a shaking hand, I lit her a cigarette. And she looked me up and down, and she said, "I'm going to bed now. Good night, and have a good evening." Oh, I missed that bullet. Now I could go back to my homework.